Hey everyone, it's Paul from Boosted Films here with another new how-to tutorial video. And today we're going to take a look at changing a wheel stud. And this is how you could change a wheel stud if you have one that's broken, or if you want to put extended, longer wheel studs in place of your stock OEM wheel studs. So there's a couple things I didn't show today. Pretty basic stuff though. So what you're going to have to do first before we really dive in is you're going to have to take off your wheel, and then you're going to have to take off either your brake rotor or your brake drum. And then this is going to be different for all different applications, but you should be able to take a look and see if you can make this work on your car. This car was very simple for me to remove the wheel stud on. It was an easy setup, but not all cars are going to be the same way. Now, before I get too far into this, I just want to say that the way I removed my wheel stud was just by simply using a hammer to tap it out, since I simply had one broken wheel stud. If I was going to remove all 5, or if I was really concerned about damaging the wheel bearing or anything like that, I would take off the entire wheel hub and then press them out using a press, so it wouldn't be hard on the wheel bearings. Although it is fairly common for people to remove the wheel studs with a hammer, like I will show today. You can take off the entire wheel hub, but it'll just make it a longer, harder process. You can see I just spun the hub around to a point where the wheel stud was easily accessible from the back side. And then basically you're just able to knock out your old wheel hub with a hammer. And obviously they're not going to come out in one hit like this. Actually, it's going to take a bit more to get them out. I did start hitting this with a hammer before I started recording this how-to video, so it did take a couple of solid hits before it came as loose as it did. And here you can just see the difference between the old broken wheel stud and the new one. You should be able to get a new wheel stud from your local auto parts store. Now, if your wheel stud wasn't broken, you might want to put on one of your lug nuts onto the wheel stud itself and then hit the lug nut with a hammer instead of hitting the wheel stud directly, just so you wouldn't damage any of the threads. So you're going to put the stud coming in through the back if you have enough room, and then you should be able to try to get it as straight, hold it as straight as you can. And then basically what we're going to do is build some sort of spacer or washer system here. I had an old lug nut laying around that was big enough just to fit over the wheel stud. So I put that lug nut over the wheel stud and then put on the stock lug nut basically to use to tighten it up. And then if you have an impact wrench, this would be a perfect time to use an impact wrench to pull in your stud. And now I'm just showing that, even though after a while of tightening it, it looks like it's almost through all the way, but as we go through the backside here, you can see there's a little bit of gap, and that wheel stud didn't pull in all the way, so you want to make sure that it's pulled in all the way and that it's going to be flat in the back. So it is a fairly simple procedure, but again, if you were going to change all 5 of your wheel studs, or if you're worried about damaging your wheel bearing, you might want to take off your entire hub assembly and then use a press to press out the wheel studs. So thanks again for watching this Boosted Films how-to video. And as always with Boosted Films how-to videos, I just wanted to say that this is really just to show you how this item can be fixed, and this is how I went about doing it myself. And if you're not comfortable with your own abilities, and if you just feel like taking it to a professional, then I always encourage just taking it to your local professional. This is simply meant to show how I fixed my vehicle. And that's it. You guys know the drill. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, we're on all those places too.